I would like to make sure that we thank a lot of people who made this event possible on behalf of all the various constituencies. So first of all, I'd like to thank the E-IPER central operation, ranging from Nicole to Clark to Melly to Anne-Marie, Gabby, and I. I think I got almost everybody there. So usually I forget somebody. I'd also like to throw in the honorary E-IPER staff member, Justin Warren, who all of us know and love, and I've worked with him on many art videographer. And then for me personally, I'd like to express, this is my second rodeo with the teaching team here, Anna Lee and Randall Holmes. Thank you very much. As you all know, I know very little about qualitative methods and surveys and whatnot, so I've learned a great deal from you, both about that and about how to run a class like this. I do see in other things I'm involved in, this is kind of a model for what I think we'll see more of. In fact, let me give my little pro E-IPER speech. I think it really is the place where interdisciplinary is kind of first and foremost, and real world impact, especially in joint program folks, is of the utmost importance. So when I was on the executive committee for E-IPER, we worked up a pitch to the new school gurus about that. And at that point, I think we decided to go easy and say this is a model for the educational part of this. And actually, one of the key staff members actually is working in the dean's office, which is pretty handy. My point at that point, which I got shot down on, is what you see here with you all working with your advisors is the educational part, particularly through working with people who are kind of practitioner-oriented, actually moves the research community as you get your different advisors to collaborate more through you oftentimes, or through various courses and advising teams. So I do think E-IPER is kind of a model, particularly for the sustainability part as well of the new school. Whenever we figure out exactly what that is, actually I reviewed like 100 proposals for the first round, and I wasn't actually sure what it was going to be, but we had some ideas. I would say on the projects this term, this is my sixth rodeo, 3 years, 2 quarters. Doing this job. I think this year I was impressed by the kind of amazing depth and breadth that we saw today of the project. You kind of covered, I got exhausted listening to Nicole's intro with all the different disciplines. I said, oh boy, there's probably more than that. And I would say, I think we were chatting during the breaks for us, those of us who have been involved for a while. It seems like the projects are getting better each time. Part of it is the students in the class. I'll come back to that later. But I think part of it is there's a lot of learning that's gone on by the teaching team and in the way you get prepared. In other courses, I know there's going to be a big effort to make the preparatory courses that you all take before you get here more useful for the ultimate capstone end game on that. So I think that's really good. The other thing that always amazes me about this class, which has been true every quarter, is the rate of improvement from the first pitches we hear at the beginning of the quarter. We're going, oh my God, this might not work. They have too broad of a scope or too narrow of a scope. This is going to crash and burn. And then, by the time we get to the dress rehearsals, we're kind of amazed how far they've gone. I think this year another break chat amongst us has been how much better they are now than they were a week or two ago. So I blame that in part on actually having good friends and neighbors to continue practicing with, and a little extra push at the end that I was kind of booked this week, but Anna and Randall actually met with a lot of you. The other thing I noticed, that not that I'm a conspiracy theorist of any sort, is this year the audience was very active and aggressive. One thing I noticed, we have this kind of complicated rubric we're trying to use. Why did we do that? Which was hard to keep straight with all the different subcategories. But I did, in some of the talks, get about halfway through and said, oh, they didn't really do this piece, this element in the rubric, or they either left it out or they didn't do it strongly. What I detected, speaking of conspiracies, is by the time I got to the end of the Q&A, where we're supposed to say, did they answer the question that was asked, is it understandable and is it comprehensive, is a lot of those came out, so the audience was able to draw those additional pieces out. I think Alana was the only one that admitted that. I am suspicious, though, that there were a lot of planted questions, so that's a good, by my reckoning, that's a really good conspiracy to have to deal with. I would say the other thing that I've said before at these moments is the sense of collaboration amongst the students in the class is just awesome to behold. We do this kind of workshopping Shark Tank thing even before we get to the dress rehearsals. And, you know, it became kind of a joke this year that, well, I don't know anything about mining. I don't know anything about EVs and stuff, but somebody here probably does or knows somebody who does. And it was amazing how each and every time that was, you know, it's like you're 6 degrees of separation. It's like you're 1 or 2 degrees of separation from just the expert you need, just based on the other students who happen to be in your cohort. So without going on too much longer than that, I'd like to say on behalf of all of us to the students, thank you very much. I always say the trick of enjoying teaching for a long period of time is, but don't tell them this, you learn much more from the students than they learn from you. I used to say that collectively. This quarter, I think I would say that about each and every student in their areas. And finally, I think we all look forward in the E-IPER community to the great things that you all will accomplish in the years ahead. So don't be a stranger. Come back and visit. Let us kind of get what do you call those things? When it's not yourself, it's like when you have your kids. What's vicarious? Yeah. Please allow us to get vicarious thrills out of seeing all the. You heard me talk about Caroline Spears. Danny's gone, but who I just knew was going to do something great. I had no idea what it would be, and I think that's probably true of each and every one of you. So with that, I think it's time for refreshments. Are they ready?
Thank you, John. Thanks, John.